In the country, now, the speaker, the general speaker, they are playing. The generator for emergency. We give it tomorrow. We can say you know what I feel? You don't know. Why is that doing?
Touch on the issue of the threshold bill that was passed recently, and then a motion of reconsideration was taken by one of our colleagues, which sparked heated debate around here. You know, on the 9th of December 2025, the House of Representatives passed on this bill and sent it to the Senate for concurrence. This bill was crafted following the submission of the 2022 census result, which puts Liberia's population at around 5.2 million plus. And this submission was done to satisfy the constitutional requirements that are enshrined in Articles 80D and 80E. In 80D, it says each constituency shall have an approximately equal population of 20,000 or such number of citizens as the legislature shall prescribe in keeping with population growth, a movement as reviewed by the National Census.
It's Magdalene Cooper. I'm the senior political advisor to His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia. But I also happen to be the spouse of the Speaker.
The example of our President, His Excellency Joseph Boakai. This is why we are here. Let me be on record. This is the national anchor of Republic of Liberia. That is the nucleus of Liberia. Now, everything that Liberia needs to reflect on the historicity how Liberia was built, we have it here. But the central government has forgotten it. And we will continue why who will speak. Mercy. In a while we're here.
Coming from the executive.
I say, I don't know why the president chose to think about football academy right after the exit of the footballing president. President Boakai had never, I don't think he even played in elementary school. To sit and decide that you're going to pay a football academy, something that was being done by President Weah, who is celebrated around the world as who is celebrated in Africa. We think that is a serious challenge. That's a serious challenge. Everyone should watch that, because if this woman go ahead and build a football academy, and when he background in football after the exit of the football president, that clearly speaks to the fact that football was not a priority on George Weah.
A LOTE approved by the legislature. If you spend $10 million on a government project, which institution funded it? It also lends credence to some of the things people have said, that some of the money hitting the budget. For example, they're spending $1 million for Foya Hospital. What's the population of Foya? $1 million for Foya Hospital, but there are more people in Basso. There are more people in Magidi. So how do you allot money? There's a lot more money being spent for Kolahun Hospital. And there is also money being spent for Current Hospital in Zozo. So this year's budget spending almost $2 million on hospitals in Foya. Are they giving those money, in Lofa, are they giving those money to go back for it and spend on other projects?
American, distinguished colleagues, I want to say good morning to every one of you, and thank God that we're in 2026. I mean, this is a very pleasant morning. All we can say, we want to tell God thank you for life. He has given us another breathing space. However, I am reminded of the conversation that was in the chat room yesterday where the speaker validated that Cecilia Bokun is his biological sister. That leads us to the fact that Richard Kun, at this point in time, you should recuse yourself, that you have committed crime under our marital law, the domestic law of this republic, that incest is a crime. So until we get reasons why you marry your sister, I think you have lost legitimacy to preside as speaker. So it is just the right thing for you to recuse yourself. And one thing, there are a lot of colleagues calling me and say, oh, you're from the fanatic over blood, they fire, you're not supposed to be commenting, you're not supposed to be talking. This is not a no damn blood thing that we're talking about. We are talking about the credibility, the image of the house that represents every one of us, the legislature as a body. Do you know what happened? That a woman is claiming that she got a marriage divorce certificate from the Civil Law Court. The reputation of our judiciary is placed on a question. Now the executive is also placed on a question. The legislature is placed on a question. And the lives and the status of our Liberian brothers and sisters in the United States of America now being in danger. I mean, this is a grave allegation. I'm hoping that our dear speaker can do the right thing. I'm not talking about removal or Richard Kun. I'm only saying he should recuse himself because they are also saying the woman fake document and blah, 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 blah. In the state of Delaware, you did marriage, and then now we have credible information. The documents will be available today that, pictorial evidences will be out that you did marry and you exhibited acts of husband and wife. And if those papers are provided today from now to 12 o'clock, I think Richard Kun will not be speaker anymore.
Well, what is the big news?
The big news in the corridor. Are you both planning to remove the speaker?
But this is not a speaker house.
Are you one of those?
This place is not a speaker office. It's not a personal property. It's not anybody's personal property. Anybody who falls below the belt in terms of legislative proceedings and or requirement, obviously it behooves the members to ask you to step aside.
Do you want the speaker out?
I'm saying to you now, if you perform below the belt, it behooves the members to say step aside.
Is the speaker performing below the belt?
No, he's performing.
Okay, so
he's
you don't want
performing.
him out?
No, I don't want. It's not. I don't want him out. I'm saying he's performing until it is proven beyond all reasonable doubt that that speaker have done this, has done this, that required for us to remove him. Obviously, we remove him.
So here is my promise to you, not as a politician, but as a Liberian who lost this country with everything I have. CMC will end corruption, not reduce it, not manage it, end it. CMC will create jobs, real jobs, jobs that let you provide for your family with dignity. CMC will build roads that connect our farmers to markets, roads that connect our children to school. CMC will put medicine in hospitals, so no mother ever has to watch her child suffer because some politicians stole the health budget. CMC will unite this nation. No tribe left behind. Competence over connection. One Liberia for all Liberians. But I cannot do this alone. CMC cannot do this alone. This movement, this revolution, you, the future, you, the mother who prays for her children every night, you, the father who sweat feeds this nation, you, the professional who is embarrassed by what Liberia has become, you in the diaspora who left because Liberia failed you, but whose heart never left home. This is your movement. This is your movement. This is your Liberia. So I'm asking you, no, I'm calling you to join us. Join CMC, not because we have all the answers, but because together we are the answer. Sign up, volunteer, donate what you can, share this message to your neighbors. Be the change you have been waiting for. 2026, the year of change. The year we stop waiting. The year we start to build. The year we take back what is ours. Liberia first, citizens empowered for the people, by the people. Happy New Year, my people. The awakening has begun. God bless you, and God bless the people and the republic.
These kind of words we live in today. I got a letter from Obama from his foundation. He sent me notes. And then he sent this note and then in the note they said President Obama. And so then somebody is telling me, why you always call George President? I said, I don't even like to talk to people like you. He said, why? I said, because we're not writing to people like you. I said, I got 3 different degrees. I've been meeting people globally. And in the mind, they know I'm on their level. That's why they're talking to me. If you went there, you got to wait in the car. I'm not talking to you on my page. Just find something else to do. I'm talking to President George. Didn't you watch the inauguration? Before they inaugurated this man called Donald Trump. Before they inaugurated him, they announced all the presidents called him president. I don't know where they were. People were asking me, did not watch that. Here comes President Bill Clinton. Here comes President George Bush. Here comes President Obama. They were naming those people elect systematically until they all took their seat before they announced the president-elect. And people are here in a little small country, 5 million people, most of whom haven't even written any paper on their own wall, when they post pictures, and they are telling you, don't call George president. You have a problem. And if you are pathetic, I'm not a doctor. You got to learn psychology.
I was formally exonerated of the rape allegation made against me. The investigator found no evidence to substantiate the claim, and the findings clearly established that the allegations could not be supported by facts, forensics, or circumstances. This outcome came through due process, forensic review, and professional investigation. Let me again state clearly and unequivocally that since returning to Liberia from the United States on August 8, 2025, I did not meet, see, or interact with the alleged victim at any time, in any place, or under any circumstance. That fact was central to the police investigation and was confirmed during the process that led to my exoneration. For clarity and public understanding, it is important to address the specific claim relating to Saturday, August 30, 2025. On August 30 was a Saturday and a non-working day. I did not go to SKD Sports Complex to work on that day. I do not have personal access to my office key. Access to my office requires the presence of 2 assigned staff members, neither of whom was available or present on the said day. Therefore, it is impossible for anyone to bring food or for any interaction to occur in an office space I was not present in and could not be accessible. On that same day, Saturday, August 30th, I spent the entire day at Alpha Field until late in the evening in the presence of prominent and well-known individuals, including Chico Nathaniel Roberts, Kevin Kier Sigwe, Alvin Brown, Coluccia Stupa, Anthony Cole Dwago, amongst others. We later departed separately. I returned directly to my residence and did not leave my house rather again that day until the next day, which was a Sunday. These facts are verifiable. You be the judge. Despite the official findings of the Liberian National Police, I cooperated fully with the authorities from day one, and I will continue to respect the rule of law. I will not litigate this matter in the media, but I will also not accept injustice or silence in the face of verified truth. We empathize with the victim and the family, and we pray sincerely that the perpetrator of this crime will be found and prosecuted, not to only follow vindicate me or my reputation, but that justice will be served.
Like today, I mean everyone, my family. What are you from? LW, MP, whatever. It's politics is not what define us. You understand? If you look at how many persons that in the Unity Party that will see this one in power, those are the people that go to school, these are the people that did the food, and these are the people that they were calling from different telephones so their friends couldn't know.
I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. Hey yo, excuse me, Mr. Journalist. I wonder how you make your headlines in the press release a day. Although I read the news every day, but I'm really still getting confused now. And I just wanna ask you some questions. Oh, is it based on money? Is it based on presidency? Is it based on technology? Is it based on war? Tell me, we got major headlines. Oh, we got major story. Yeah. There is no job, no money for hustlers. We got major headlines. We got major story. There is no job, no money for hustlers.
Okay, sorry, my mic was muted. So, basically, let me say good evening and welcome to all of you. Thanks for joining us on the program, and it's a great pleasure to be on here tonight. My name is William McGill. We have Madam Edna Baker, and she's going to run us through with information pertaining to, the insurance sector in the world, especially things that we don't know. She will be telling us most of these things, and we will be getting some knowledge. It's not more about the interview, but the kind of knowledge we get. Let me say good evening to you, Madam Baker, and welcome to the round table.
Thank you so much for having me. Good evening in Liberia. Good evening from the United States.
Yeah, the only part I can enjoy when we're having conversation, the part you can say, good day, Liberia. They are representing the whole country. Yeah. So it's a pleasure to have you on. Let's get to know who is Madam Edna Baker. Edna Baker. I keep making mistake with the first name.
It's all right. I get a lot of mistakes for my simple 4-letter name. So I'm Edna Baker. I'm originally from Liberia. I was born in Liberia. So some people say, oh, we don't hear your accent, but I've been here since I was a little girl. So I hung out with my American friends and then lost the accent along the way, but 100% full-blooded Liberian girl. And I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I work in the human services field, particularly mental health field. And I got into insurance about 5 years ago when someone spoke to me about insurance. So it's something that I do both on, talk to people about insurance. Like here we get insurance at work, but it's also good to have insurance on the side, other than work, because you could possibly lose your job. So here we are.
So let's run quickly, right? What inspired you to enter, the life of insurance industry?
What inspired me was another friend of mine, Liberian as well, but she was talking about, I always have insurance. I have life insurance, you have car insurance, you have health insurance when you have to go to the doctor, car insurance if you have an accident, things like that. And then we started to talk about life insurance more. But the thing about life insurance is when you start to learn about it, you find out about money and how to handle finances and how to, put things away for um, your family when you're no longer around. That's life insurance. So while talking about it more, I found that most people don't have life insurance. So if anything happens to them, their family is not protected, right? They have children that are going to school or maybe in grade school or elementary school here, like, 5th grade, 6th grade. Something happens to the father, there's 2 people in the family. Something happens to one of the parents. Now that child that was supposed to go to college and the parents were supposed to pay for the college education, one person is gone and now the money is tight. Or you are a husband and a wife or a couple or whatever it is, family member, you guys live together, you're sharing your bills, you're sharing your expenses, you're sharing the mortgage, somebody dies. Now the 2 people have become, the 2 income that you had has decreased into half. So that's no longer there. That's why life insurance, right? And so why I became more passionate about it, because I'm like in my community, especially the Liberian community, we don't seem to talk about that much. We feel like life insurance is like a curse. Oh, it means that someone wants to kill me, or they don't want me to, you want to take my life, so you want me to have and give you money. That's not what life insurance is about. And so I got into life insurance. I studied it. I, took the classes. I'm a an agent with the state of Pennsylvania. I'm a licensed agent with the state of Pennsylvania. And in learning the class, found out a lot of people don't have life insurance because they're afraid that, oh, if I get life insurance, someone wants to kill me. So, but I want to educate people. It's not about that. It's about protecting your family if something happens to you, right? It's about protecting your loved ones. It's about making sure that your children will still go to college or will still be able to start a business or maybe even buy their first home, right? It's about leaving a legacy behind for your family. So for your children. So that's what life insurance is about. It's not about it's not about the person that is lost. It's about the people that are still here, right? So that's why I want to teach people about what you're going to do, what happens to your family when you're no longer around. How can you be a blessing to someone when you're no longer around? Because some people, we work all the time, we pay our bills and things like that. But then when we leave nothing behind, right? Because all we were doing was working. But the insurance industry, they take it in their hands, right? Because we pay them money. It's a whole group of people that come together. We pay them money into their system. And then if something happens to us, they take it into their hands to make sure that our family is able to go on without us when we're no longer here. So I want to teach people about that. I want people to know it's okay to have it. It's not a death sentence. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a blessing to your family, to the people that you're leaving behind. Or also, you can lose life insurance while you're alive, right? If you put money into your insurance, that money grows interest. It grows over time, and you can use that money to go on vacation. Maybe you want to buy a house later on in the future. You have money in that that fund as well. Or you can put money away for retirement through your life insurance. So there's a lot of different ways to use life insurance. So it's not just about, oh, if I die, someone's going to take money from me. No, that's not what that is.
Now, what are some of the biggest myths you've had people saying about the entire life insurance thing? Maybe you went somewhere, you try to explain about it, and some people say, "Oh, somebody tell me," like the normal Liberian sector, we always have a perception of
For a lot of people, not even just Liberians, but
are supposed to do it.
Right. The myth is, again, I think I said it a couple of times. Oh, if I get a life insurance, someone's going to try to kill me for the life insurance.
Oh.
They don't even have to know that you have life insurance, right? First of all, that's one of the myths. Or, how does it benefit me, right? How does it benefit me when I'm no longer here? It benefits you because you're a good person. You're a kind person. You love your family, right? and you want to take care of your family when you're no longer here. So it's not about life insurance is not about the person that has a life insurance. It's about the blessing that they are when they're not able to be that 100% or when they do die. Because guess what? One thing for sure, we are all going to die. So get rid of the mindset that if I get life insurance, that someone is going to kill me, or it means I'm going to die soon, or something bad is going to happen to me, and then people will take my money. First of all, it's not your money. You're putting money into it, but it's money for someone else if something happens. So, yeah.
Let's talk about now you into insurance and how does life insurance fit into broader financial plan for families? Like if you have life insurance, how will your family benefit from this? Maybe if you no longer around, or maybe if you're still around but still have access to have this life insurance helping you as a person.
Okay. So life insurance as a death benefit, right? If you die and say you got a $500,000 policy, you got the $500 policy, the next day the policy goes through, you pay the premium, the first premium, it goes through, something happens to you within a few days or something. Your family now has $500,000, right? They can pay off a house. They can put money aside for education for the children, if there's children involved. They can pay off any debt. They can also pay off, your burial expenses. So that's one way it benefits you when you're no longer, right? Another way is if you're sick. If you get sick, you get a like a cancer diagnosis or something like that. You can use part of that life insurance, either 40 to 60%, to now you can take some of that money out of that $500,000, and you can use that to live off, because now you're going to be going through chemotherapy. You're not able to go to work as much. And so now you're using that benefit to maintain your life, to maintain your lifestyle, pay some bills. If hopefully you have medical insurance, but you don't, but if you don't, you can use some of that money to pay for your medical expenses as well. So you're not left depleted once your income has decreased or you're not able to work because of illness. Another way life insurance benefits you is when you're alive. You're going to get that money that's rolling over into like a savings. So you can use that money as in a bank account. As that money grows, instead of you taking money or going to a bank for a high interest rate, you can take that money from your insurance, right, that's been built up, and use that for maybe little things that you want to do. And your interest rate is much lower. And then you can put that money back. It's up to you. It's your money. You've been putting it back, but they'll lend it to you in advance. And then you're able to put that money back, at a lot lower interest rate. So those are the benefits for having a whole life insurance policy or, those kind of policies.
What are some of the things that, can a consumer look up for in terms of trusting an insurance expert like you now? If I want to get a life insurance, what are some of the things that I should look up for in that agent?
Okay. So the person should, get to know you, get to know what your needs are, right? What's your family background? What are your needs? So you want to get that policy that fits your family, fits your needs, right? You can get $1 million policy, or you can get $500,000, but it's based on what your needs are. So that person is going to gather information, right? Have all your details, have your family background. What are your expenses? What are the liabilities that you're carrying? And then put that into a plan for you. And then come up with an amount that will be beneficial to you or your family if something were to happen to you, if you lose your income or something like that. So you want to be able to trust that person to not just try to get you the highest possible amount that you don't need. You want to get the right amount that you need that's going to benefit you and that's going to be affordable to you when you have to make that monthly premium payment. So that person has to be trusted. And again, we are all licensed. There's no way you can sell insurance without being licensed by the state that you're living in. I can also go to another state because of my license in Pennsylvania. I can buy into licenses in other states. But in order for me to sell license to you, I have to be a licensed agent, and anyone can go and check out my license information on, the website. On the government website, yes.
Okay, so let me say good evening to you, James, and welcome to the show. And it's great to have you on, James.
Yeah, thank you, Williams. And I've been following the show, even though came here a bit late. I think insurance is something very important because a lot of folks back here in Liberia, we sometimes work, and at the end of the day, they are not being insured. So they work, and as soon as they leave the job, they go home, and at times they begin to struggle and all of that because you are not insured, and sometimes like people who may have maybe other properties may get damaged, but they are not insured. At the end of the day, when they lose it, nobody is going to come to their aid, and you see people oftentimes go to government, call other humanitarian. But I think it's good. I've been following. But I just wanted to ask as to whether, how many persons within a family can benefit. Let's say if I'm an individual now, I want to have an insurance. How many persons within a family can actually maybe benefit when I'm not there?
Okay. So you have a life insurance policy, right? Mm-hmm. So say your life insurance policy is $100,000, $200,000, $50,000, right? And you have 4 children, you have your wife, right? So you can divide that money any way you want, right? You can say 10% to this person, 20%. So you can break it down however you want and leave those people as your beneficiary. So if the children are younger, it's going to go into, they may have someone that's over them, like the mom. She'll take care of it until they're 18 years old, until they're an adult, and they're able to get that money, right? So you can break it down however you want to make sure that your beneficiaries collect on those funds once you are no more. And that money can stay in, in a fund until they're up of age. So it depends on how you want someone to make sure you want it when you're talking to your agent or you're talking to your financial advisor, you want to give them as much information as possible. You want them to know how you want your money to be distributed when, you're not around anymore. So you want to give them as much information as possible, and that's how they're going to write that policy for you. Okay. So if you want your whole family to get money, you just leave them how much you want, and you put the beneficiary's name on your policy, and then they'll go from there.
Now, what advice or what message can you send out to, people watching you right now, in terms of the life insurance thing, especially maybe for me, is my first time. What message can you send out there, encouraging these people to consider the life insurance thing?
The only thing I could say a lot, but think about your family, right? Because I don't know, but we're gonna die. We don't know when, we don't know the time, the day, the place, how it's going to happen, but we are going to die. Unfortunately, that God promised us that. If you believe in God, He promised that we are going to die. And even if God didn't say it, people die, right? So you want to make sure that your family member, if you're able to do it, are taken care of, right? You want to make sure that they don't lose the house, they don't lose the education, they don't lose, maybe they wanted to start a business. And sometimes, some people say, well, that person was, worth more to me going than they were alive, because they couldn't afford to give you those things while they were alive, right? But now that there's money, there's insurance here, you pay a minimal amount every month, right? And then somebody else, when you die, gives you $1 million. And you may have been paying $200, $300 a month for that $1 million policy. But now when you're no more, your family has $1 million to live off. So there's nothing, it's not like a mystery. It's like having a car insurance, right? Something happens to your car, the car insurance company pays it off. You have health insurance. If you go to the hospital, that company, the health insurance company, they pay your bill. You know, so it's unfortunate when some people don't have it. When you go to the hospital, they may not treat you, especially, you know, we're abroad and things like that. Oh, if you don't have 10 million this, or, you know, how many thousands of dollars, you're not going to get that care. So life insurance is the same, right? If I'm not here, my family can still have money to be able to do their life the way they were doing it as if I was here. Or they may be able to do it better because now they can afford to pay off their house, pay off college, pay off, you know, start a business, because I was able to be a blessing and left them something, right? So, you know, I left them something so they wouldn't struggle because I'm no longer here. And that's the thing about insurance. You have it because you want to make sure that your loved ones are good. You want to make sure that, you know, you are a blessing to them in your death as well as, you know, as you were in your life. So that's as simple as that for life insurance. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mara Baker.
Thank
We
you.
have some great understanding about the entire life insurance thing,
Thank you for
and
having me.
it's a great pleasure having you on. And we hope that, you know, in time to come, we can still have you to talk more about most of these things that will come out. And thanks for honoring our invite as well.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
It's been a great time. Have a great night.
Take care.
So she's Madam Edna Baker there. James, we also have Coco Lynn, and let me be frank, right? Seeing Coco Lynn coming on the show tells me that she's somebody I've seen on the social media aside from my boss Abel posting about her initiative. I've seen, you know, her on social media, somebody that I know from social media. But let me say good evening from Liberia and welcome to the roundtable, Coco Lynn Smith. Your mic is muted. Can you unmute your mic?
Sorry. Good evening.
Yeah,
How are
go
you?
ahead. I
Oh,
I'm okay. Thank you for asking.
all right. And James, this is Coco Lynn. She's involved into an initiative. But let me say, who's Coco? By the way.
I don't even know what to say. Coco is Coco. Coco is just a young Liberian girl who's been traveling to Liberia recently, and she grew up in the UK, but she fell in love with Liberia, and now she's in Liberia every 2 months.
Wow, really?
That's
Okay.
just who Coco is, yeah. So
Okay. So
sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Coco. I'm a Liberian based in the UK. I grew up here from the age of 5. I was actually born in Ivory Coast, but I grew up in the UK from the age of 5. And I first went to Liberia 3 years ago. A friend invited me to Liberia for her birthday. She used to live in Liberia and she came to the UK and then she invited me back home. Although I had heard so much stories, you know, about Liberia, when you haven't been to a country, you hear stories, you become so fearful. But in the first day I stepped foot in Liberia, I really love Liberia. I just couldn't understand what people were complaining about in Liberia. And since then, I've just been taking my own trips to Liberia and getting to know the economy, getting to know the people, the culture. And there's a huge culture difference in Liberia, growing up in Liberia and growing up here. So I'm slowly, gradually learning that culture and trying to adapt to the culture of the Liberian culture. But yeah, that's who Coco is.
So, quick question: are you a Liberian? Sorry to ask, and I mean no harm, because you was born in Ivory Coast, moved to the UK 5, and spent a lot of your life in the UK.
Yeah, I'm a Liberian. My mom's Gribble, my dad is Concord, whatever that is. I'm a raw Liberian girl.
So Coco is someone who's innovative. I've did some level of research. I see that she also trying to create it or even brand to host parties of birthday, wedding, and everything. And let's talk about this your initiative. You talk about the renovation of an orphanage home, and what inspired you to just kick off with such an initiative?
Okay, so the second time I came to Liberia, I've always seen on television, on social media, people doing like charity work, like giving, going to hospitals or shipping things in their bag and kind of gifting the locals. So I when I made my second trip to Liberia, I said, oh, I will ship 2 barrels down, and distribute some children clothes in in London. I'm a caterer and I love to cook. So I said, oh, I would love to go to an orphanage, and then I would do some cooking, play with the children, and just see how life is in a real orphanage home because I have never been in an orphanage home before. So when I came, I think it was 2024, the second time I came to Liberia, there was a lady called Yinswa. Her name is Yinswa. And Yinswa Livingstone. So she does like she cooks every Thursday and every Friday, I think, or every Tuesday and every Friday at like a feeding station. So somebody connected me to her and I went to the feeding station and I was very surprised at how many children were like there wanting to eat. And she had explained to me that these were not orphanages, but orphan children, by the way. They were just regular children in the community who parents would send them to the feeding station to eat. And I have never seen such a thing in my entire life. So I was like, wow, there was about 100 children the first time we went to go visit. So, we distributed the barrel, the clothes and things, and then we brought some food to cook. And then I said to one of my friends, I was really interested in going back to to do the same process again and do the cooking and sit and play with the children and feed the children. So that's how we went by the second time. And the second time we went, there was 300 children. Which I was like, how is it possible that people are so hungry in the country that they have to send their children to feeding stations to have food? So I started doing more investigation in Liberia about orphanage home and feeding station. So I decided that every time I would come to Liberia, I would either visit a hospital, visit a mother, because I'm a single mom and I have compassion for single mothers. I actually started an organization called Single Mothers Brunch Club in Liberia. So it was through the organization where I met mothers and I heard their stories and their struggles that prompted me to, with obviously previously going to the feeding station, that prompted me to say, look, there are people in Liberia who are really, really hungry and starving. And there are people who are really struggling financially and they don't even have the basic necessities. So since children are my weakness, let's start with children. So that's how I started visiting different orphanage homes and trying to, just learn. I didn't go there. Like I said to people, I don't want to go to an orphanage home to donate and sit there and take pictures. I didn't want that. I wanted to go and learn and understand how some of the children became orphans. I wanted to know how the orphan home is like managing financially to even provide for these children and how they get support. So as I was doing that, I fell in love with one orphanage called Martha Gelly. It's in rehab. It's actually a school, but she has some children who are orphans that lives in the compound with her. So I took me and my team there for the day and we sat there with them and then we did like a day in a life with them, how they can start their day and how they can end their day, how they can break firewood. My first time breaking firewood with the stick, drawing water from the well, lighting fire on the cook pot. My first ever time cooking on cook pot was this year.
Wow.
So, I did all of that to understand how these people manage on their everyday living before they show me around. I saw the structure and the condition was really bad. So I told the lady that let me finish with my business that I'm opening, the Coco Lounge business, the event space, and then when I'm in a better financial position, I will contribute towards making the place look a bit more livable for the children. Yeah.
So, are you done with your business? One. Secondly, how can you describe, the current condition of that orphanage home?
So I'm actually coming to Liberia in a few weeks because my business will be my establishment will be settled by then, and I'm launching my space on the 15th of February. So once I've done that, so that's the date when everything will be ready, and I'll be not spending any more money fixing the place. And then I will then move on to that project of renovation. Please remind me the second question you asked again.
I'm asking, how is the living condition of the kids of the orphanage home where you want to renovate? Is it that really bad that prompted you to
Yeah.
think about it?
They have like 3 rooms. It's like a 3-bedroom house. And each room accommodates like 6 or 7 children, I would say. And like the beds are broken. They don't even have duvet covers. There's mold everywhere. There's leak everywhere. There's water coming from the roof. The place was wet. The lady who owns the place, she's so lovely. Mom Martha. In her own personal room, she has like many beds around her beds for the children to sleep. They don't have wardrobe. They don't have clothing. They don't even have shoes. They're just really in need of so much. The place, for me, it was the mold. The mold was really bad. It was really bad in that place, and it just broke my heart because like no child should live in that condition. So those are some of the things I saw in there that I had issues with.
Okay. James, do you want to ask some questions? Because I got more questions to ask Coco.
Yeah, so for the business, I don't know what's our intent to extend the business in other parts of Liberia, because Monrovia is not just Liberia. We have other countries too that need some of those things.
Decentralization.
Yeah, sure. So some of us are in part of Liberia, so that's why sometimes we advocate for some of these things, right?
You mean as in like you mean my business as in the event space, or the working with orphanage? Which one are you
No,
referencing to?
the renovation. Now I'm talking about the business.
As in for me to renovate the space of the orphanage. So it's not actually a business, it's more so just like a personal journey I'm taking for myself, where I can at least give back to this first orphanage. Of course, financially, everything falls on me, right? And I'm one person. So I don't work with any organization. I don't have sponsorship here. If I am going to do anything, it's going to come out of my personal pocket. So I cannot be, I don't want to lie and say, oh yeah, I have the financial means to stretch to, different counties and be a help to other homes that may need help when it comes to things like renovation or just, but I guess it's just hope and pray that maybe while I'm in the process of doing this particular one, somebody or some people will be touched and maybe want to help contribute towards us, doing more homes and just giving back more to our community.
And I also think that, as you open a business, when more fundings comes in, you might like to want to expand the business as well. It's just my own view. So quickly now, right? You start an initiative and you call for support. How is it like in terms of people coming in to support you? Like, you do not have a team, an organized team that would say, okay, we giving Coco $5, $10. You just asking friends whether it's financial support, it's moral, spiritual. You need support to be able to carry on this initiative successfully. And you said all of what you're doing is from your own funding, from your own pocket. So how is it like in terms of support that you've called for to be able to help these young kids?
I mean, first and foremost, I would hope and pray that I can get like financial support from people, especially people from outside the country, because at the end of the day, like just like me, I'm not from the country, but I'm trying to come in and contribute something to my country, whichever ever way it is. So that would be like one of the most major help I would really ideally want to receive from people, financial help. However, there are some things that can be done professionally, and there are some things that can be done, you know, between us, like manually. So, things like painting, when we get to that part, painting the rooms, we can all do that together. We don't have to pay professionals or putting a bed together. Me, I can call myself superwoman. I do everything on my own. I'm a single man. Whether to fix bed or to fix table, all those things I can do on my own. Cleaning a yard, we can all do that together. Getting rid of the waste, we can all do that together. Even if it means providing cars for us to move around easily, you understand? There's so many different ways people can help, or even bringing in food to the orphanage. While we do the work, any little help, anything, even being present and playing with the children while we do the work, anything that can contribute to us making these children happy, I will receive it.
And what hope and change that basically you think this project should bring to the orphanage kids? Like, they literally don't have no parents. They depend on this organization, this orphanage home, to shelter for them, to provide food and everything. So what the kind of change that you prospect in your mind to be able to see these children having after your initiative?
Well, like, first of all, as a mother who has a child, like, it's very important for me to make sure my son has a safe space to live in, and I would hope the same for these children. I would hope for them to feel more happier and comfortable and feel more worthy based on a nicer environment for them to be in, right? And the last time we went to go visit the orphanage, other than contributing and cooking, we actually engaged and played games with the children. And as I was leaving, a lot of the children were so happy to even have somebody be involved with them interpersonally. Where there's people who will just come, donate, take pictures, and then walk right out and not even interact with the children. So I think it just takes like the small things, like having a new bed, having a clean environment to be in, having a space that feels safe, that isn't a hazard for them, that will improve their health, their mental health, their physical health, and also just bring like happiness for them to be able to come home and feel relaxed and feel like they're in a safe space, and not to be reminded, not for the environment to remind them that they are in poor conditions. At least it's bad enough for you to be in a condition where you don't have your mom, you don't have your dad, right? But then to also live in poor conditions, it contributes towards like the trauma of remembering how bad and how sad life is. So I think a nice clean environment for them will at least contribute and give them a sense of worth. Like, even though we are in a bad condition, we don't have our mom, we don't have our dad, but at least we have a nice home to be in. I think it will help contribute towards making them happy on an everyday basis.
Okay.
And Williams, I'm going to ask because you grew up in an environment where you had almost 90% of those needed things that or kids you have. Now that today you are giving back to the orphanage, what's that feeling it brings to you? Because a lot of folks who are back there may not have this interest. Now that you are coming back, giving to those who are in need. What feelings it bring to you?
To be honest, personally, I cannot sit here and say it brings me a specific feeling, because what I'm doing It's not to make me feel in any way better or about, like, it's not to make me feel anything for myself. It's to actually make these children feel safe. So even if I have achieved this, the type of person that I am, I will sit back and say, hey God, one orphanage home has been done, but there's someone out there in that, bro, another orphanage home looks like this. So the reality is there's so much that needs to be done in Liberia. Like, I cannot even make it feel like, oh, I've achieved something by doing this, because it's not even like, it's not for me. It's not for me to feel anything. I don't know if that makes sense in a way, you know. I'm not doing it to make myself feel good, because at the end of the day, I will always go to Liberia and I'll always see things. Like, I'm somebody who cry a lot. I can see anything happening like, bro, about crying. That's how I am. So I feel like it's gonna be an ongoing cycle until like, bro, gets to a stage where everybody is, everybody living in a good, happy environment. It's just gonna be an ongoing cycle of sadness for me, to be honest. But yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we might be closing up on this interview shortly, but I got a few things to say. I'm basically thrilled by your initiative and such a young lady, and especially trying to maneuver your resources, your strength, and being very courageous to be able to show care, love, and compassion for people that are in need is something that we all should be very grateful for. Not every person will want to do that, especially you don't even have it. You're not fully in that capacity to be able to give someone that kind of befitting, opportunity, but you're still trying to make it possible all by yourself. So it's something that I'm super proud of. When I saw Abel, reshare your post, I was very thrilled to reach out to Abel to give me direct link to you, and I must commend you for your initiative. So while you're not speaking, they say the British people get accent. Number one, that my final question before James Kine. Secondly, again, do you actually know how to cook our typical Liberian dish, or you so into your British thing?
So I don't know. Do you want? What is it that you want to do first? The accent, or answer the question about the food?
And then one you want to start with where?
Okay.
Because I want
Well,
ask more question about they cocoa lodge Liberia, so that's why I'm asking these questions.
Well, I can actually respond to you in British accent if you want me to. So, basically, this is how we talk in the UK. And when it comes to Liberian food, let me just tell you something here. I am a pro max Liberian food chef. Like, I love Liberian food. And what makes it even more better, my son was born in the UK. He flavorful like kasawali. He loves kasawali. He loves food and soup. He not even care about the food.
The guy
Exactly. No, we eat African food all the time here. I'm more so of an African food girl than the European food, but it's nice to have the balance. As for my British accent, mate, William, this is how we talk in the UK. Yes, we do have an accent, but we also have like really different accents. So it depends where you're from in the UK. I'm from London, so my accent sounds like this. But maybe somebody from Birmingham can sound like this. So there's a lot of different accents in the UK. So yeah.
Yeah, for the accent, I was actually kidding, but yeah, I was just curious to know because you're about to officially launch your own kind of business in Liberia, and that will also have something to do with cooking our local dish. I feel like it was more important for the audience to be able to understand that you do more Liberian dishes than the Western thing. So James,
actually, sorry to cut you off, but the business I'm opening is actually inspired by British food.
Okay.
Yeah, so the space that we have is called a private dining hall, and it's a British thing that I'm trying to bring to Liberia. So my opening actually is strictly British food. We're not having any Liberian food, and I'm hoping that people will be interested in trying.
You having opening party, eh?
Yeah, on the 15th of February.
We need invitation.
So where would that event be taking place?
At the actual space that I'm opening, and it's in Tinker Village in Monrovia.
Free food, free entrance, or we have to
Yes,
pay?
you should come. Yes, William, you should come.
Yeah. Okay. Let's conclude from your end, James. Then we just let Coco to lead.
Yeah, so I really admire her because looking at an individual, taking up a bold step to, getting back to their people, of which they may not even they are not go among them, but coming back, just looking at some of the things that they are going through, seeing the need to giving back. I really do appreciate her for that. We look forward that maybe other people too can see the need and say, well, let's give help to Coco and see, what she's going to do with the fund that we're going to give her, like she's already doing. People can see the need to help her in that. It's going to be good because, like she was saying, there are a lot of children who are in an orphanage home. Williams, if you visit there, sometimes you want to cry. Like the other time I did visit one of the orphanage home, and I saw the kids, their performance and all of that. I actually shed tears on the spot. It was a sad moment that I saw because folks who you will see that they don't have mother, they don't have father, and some of us were privileged to at least go up with our parents. They thought of everything that today we are surviving on, but there are other folks who may not have that opportunity. So I think it's a good thing that she's coming back to give to them. And again, we call on all of those that are out there. You too can see the need. It may be other area. It will not be the orphanage home. Yeah, maybe the crippled. There are a lot of areas that you can look at in Liberia, like she's doing now, and say, well, let's go by and see the need that we can also help our people. And I think when we do that, it's going to be a good one for all of us. Remember, the society can only become better if one or two persons can see that leakage or the hole and say let's fill it up, right? That's the only way we can advance, or we can go ahead with development and all and other things, in fact, that we want to do in the society. So I appreciate her, and we pray that her business that she's about to launch in Liberia, we pray that it's going to also boost, and maybe from there she can also have some funds, to ascending her gesture to less fortunate children as well. But I really do appreciate her for that.
Thank you. Thank you, boys. Thank you.
Okay. Coco, any message before we take leave of you to the viewers that are watching?
Yeah, I would say from somebody who lives abroad coming to Liberia, this message is really from the people who lives abroad. I know sometimes we hear a lot about Liberia, but I just want you guys to give Liberia a chance. And also, if you're coming to Liberia, I understand there is so much fun happening in Liberia, but the reality is that there's a lot of suffering happening in Liberia also. So while we have the privilege to be here and be in a better financial position, even if we're coming back home for enjoyment, let's just try and contribute as little as we can towards those who are less, privileged or who are in need, because it's the small things that we will do that will add up to changing Liberia and making Liberia a better place. If you see your child walking down the street with barefoot, if you can get that child slipper, and slipper is only 100, 200, 300 LG, get it for the child. If you see your child starving, buy them something. If you see your child even kicking plastic and bottle and playing football, if you can buy them a football just to make them happy, because that's what they enjoy doing. That every little help counts, even if it's just $5. in this life that you ever contribute towards somebody who is in need, that $5 will go a long way. So please, let's just try and help our people back home in any ways we can. And I appreciate everyone who's listening, who's going to hear this, and I hope I touched any lives. So contribute towards Liberia. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Coco, and we wish you all of the best. Hoping that when you come to Liberia, we can also be able to watch you smoothly carrying on this initiative. And I must admit, it's been a great time having you on, Coco. Have a great time, and have a great night there in the UK.
Bye.
So she's Coco Smith, and James, you listen to all of our guests, and all of our guests have been having a great conversation tonight, and we have 5 minutes. Can we just dive quickly into some political things, as usual?
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, so basically the president broke grounds for the justice complex, right? The Ministry of Justice complex, and that complex worth around 20 million. And the president broke grounds today by the new house, and we heard that that complex will host a lot of security agency or security ministries and agency like the Ministry of Justice, the LDA, and so forth. And the launch was at the Capitol in Monrovia. Now, right after that, we saw the president moving on to attend an initiative there in, I think, in Nigeria or Ghana. Yeah, in Ghana. That's one thing I want us to talk about. The next one is the Senate concurring with the House of Rep to pass the 10th Amendment bill for ArcelorMittal mineral agreement. And this is something that we basically been talking about, this agreement, and we had two lawmakers who made a statement. I would just want to play it briefly. I don't know if you have the time that we can listen to these two lawmakers. One is from NIMBA. Let me play this quickly.
It is time to welcome all of you to this media engagement that will be addressed by Geneva County Senator Jan P. Twine Jr. This conference is centered on the passage, as you may be aware, the Senate concurred today on the ArcelorMittal agreement, following the passage of that agreement by the House of Representatives. So Senator Twine will respond to the concurrence of the Senate. Senator, welcome to the media.
Thank you. You know, ladies and gentlemen of the media, it is important today to address the media on the passage of the 10th Amendment of the ArcelorMittal Agreement. As you can recall, since I took office 2 years ago, we have been on a mission for compliance of the MDA of Mittal, and we've been very robust during these negotiation period of the 10th Amendment. And we issue a formal statement representing our views and aspiration, and that of the views and aspiration of many Nimbians. My decision to vote abstain on the proposed 10th amendment to the ArcelorMittal Mineral Development Agreement was not motivated by malice, hostility to investment, or opposition to economic growth. It was guided by history, evidence, and my responsibility as lead senator on concession compliance over the past 2 years. ArcelorMittal Liberia has a documented record of non-compliance with key obligations under the existing MDA, particularly with respect to social commitments to affected communities. That history cannot be ignored simply with implementation of all clauses and commitments in the agreement. During discussion following passage of the amendment by the House of Representatives, sustained advocacy from my office and other colleagues produced tangible outcomes in the interest of the people of Liberia, especially the people of Nimba. Through this process, the Interministerial Committee on Concession and ArcelorMittal agreed to correct several critical omissions and weaknesses in the proposed amendment. These include explicit social benefit commitments such as the pavement. Let me start over. Through this process, the Interministerial Committee on Concession and ArcelorMittal agreed to correct several omissions and weaknesses in the proposed amendment. These include social benefit commitments such as the pavement of the Sekipa to Yigipa Road, improvements and upgrade to roads within the concession area, construction and maintenance of bridges, and enhanced investment in clinics and schools within the affected communities. Our advocacy from day one of taking office also compelled renegotiation by the government to gain financial terms within the.
And basically, I just wanted us to listen to a few of what he said concerning, I don't know James here. Sorry, James.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So basically, the thing is, the lawmakers, since we don't have a lot of time, we just want to dive in, right? This is one lawmaker from Nimba, and he's been very vocal speaking on the third amendment of the ArcelorMittal Mineral Development Bill. One person that I encountered yesterday was Senator Creighton Duncan from Sano County. And we were at UL when he had a conversation with the Student Unification Party. He said he was not going to vote for this bill. So he was the third senator to say that he was not going to vote for this bill. Because also the likes of Senator Samuel Koga also said he was not going to vote in favor of this bill. The two senators from Nimba County, and is one of the two host counties that host ArcelorMittal. Let me say this. This is one thing that Senator Creighton Duncan said. In past mineral agreement, the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Mines and Energy, gave the government 3% interest in whatever they're going to generate from this country. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? And it was amended on this current government, taking it to 3.05%. Make that make sense. You as a country owns all of the resources. Your people are suffering, but you take all of your resources, give it to Turkish people to enjoy, give it to people from different countries. When I speak about the ArcelorMittal situation, I guess very pain. What I guess pain about it is the fact that these guys are building a plant and they call Chinese to end up doing carpentry works at that facility. When I speak about the ArcelorMittal deal, I feel very dissatisfied with the fact that I've been to Nimba 3 to 4 times. I've been to Asla Mentai, Yekepa. And these people live in a very deplorable condition. Their lives are backward as compared to we that are not even having concession companies in our area to make us benefit a lot. And all boils down to the government, only because government wants what they want. The deal that the government forced to pass have about 200 million United States dollars in that particular deal to be passed. That was what Senator Creighton Duncan said yesterday when we went to cover that initiative. And before concessions agreement or deal comes into the country, they go straight to the executive. And before it goes to the House, the executive brief its members that are in the House of Parliament about these deals and how to go about them. That's the reason you have a lot of these guys in the House, the government that are sitting in power. We want to convince them, even if they didn't win on their party, to support them, because they want these initiatives to be carried on smoothly with no hindrance. We're not saying these things because we want personal gain. The country, we say America, we say London, we say whatever, in Europe, in Asia, they didn't wake up one morning and see these systems in place. Trust me, it's not just about Liberia, but Liberia is our country. Africa, if we can level up and put ourselves in order, I think even the Great America or whoever country will come and beg us here in Africa to develop their country. We have all of the resources, and yet and still, we are still underdeveloped. I'm saying this to say that I'm in favor as Lamentar sending a new deal. There's some part of the new Third Amendment deal that makes a lot of sense. But still, there's more needs to be done for our people, for our generation, for our country to progress. Imagine you having 5, 10 children, you earning 150, 200. How can that help you? Can I even pay one person's school fees in Liberia? Can I even feed you or transport you for a month? Then you have somebody who will become a minister that will make over 10, 15,000. These are things that we need to speak about. We are journalists. We are the watchdog of society. And the deal already passed. There's nothing we can do about it, but we just have to talk what we're able to talk about this, and we be done. So that is it. James, you know about my light drive. You know about the entire situation with that deal, and we've been speaking about it. It's not a strange thing here on the show, and that's exactly what I have to say, James.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. It's so sad for Liberia. People who believe that they represent us. I'm sure, issue like this. I haven't seen most of these representatives even reaching out to their constituent and say, well, this is it. As a mayor have said, and they want to have amendment that is to extend their operation within the country. I didn't see that happening, wherein these representatives would say, well, let's go back to the people who those equipment or those things that are doing from the operation of ArcelorMittal Liberia that affect. Let's go back to them and see, what would be their own suggestion or recommendation as part of the amendment. Some of those things that is needed, for us to add. I didn't see that happening, right? Yatoin, he has been one person that has been consistent at most 3 months ago. I've been following him. He has been consistent with this issue of ArcelorMittal Liberia, because you can have a company, operating in an area, and then even the rules that leads to the company is very deplorable. The schools within that same surrounding is now up to tax, and the company is taking the resources away every day. Like the other time I said on the same platform that the guys are taking away the resources or the iron ore. It can go. The iron ore can go back to say, oh, when the guys take it, after some time it will go again. No, the guys are taking it. So what can they do as well now to say let's have a better healthcare system in let's say Nimba or Gambasa County, because these are affected communities, right? Let's see if we can have those things there so that the people who are being affected by some of the chemicals and other things that we use, at the end of the day, even if they get sick, they'll have better education, or they'll have, a better healthcare system that they can run there, and they're taking their treatment. But our representative, most of them go over there to amass work. So the moment they have some of these things coming up, they know something is there. Once the guys are signing, they are aware that there is something that they're going to carry home, right? Maybe a little tokens and all of that. They're going to walk away with something. So they're not going to be more concerned about what affects the people, what can they add up to addressing the issues in those affected communities. They are not going to look at that. I haven't seen much debate, most especially from the representative. I didn't see that. Aside from today, I saw the Senate, at least some of them try to make some point, because I followed the entire thing. But for the representative, the ones who in fact should be saying, well, because they should be coming back to the district every time to know what affects the people, and then go back at the legislature and say, this is why affects the people. Let's see if we can do this. But they don't care. They don't care at all. They don't care. They don't even know what is going on with the people. So why would they go over there and say, well, it is it? They don't go back to their various districts. How many of the representatives today that will say, I'm going back to my district every week? We can see that. Aside from when they want to come, maybe and just after months plus, maybe 2 to 3 months, they come back and say, let's just go and do something so that people can say they will stay around. Some people will go for 6 months, 9 months before even they go back to their very constituent and say, let's go and show our face so that people can know that we are here. And that's very wrong. So as I made that, they are still operating in Liberia. I know some people today, they are signing, they are watching with the amendment, and they are not even thinking about 20 years from now, 25 years from now. They are not thinking about those things, brother. So they only care about what they can receive today, and that's all their main focus. They are not looking at 20 years from now, that little child that will be coming up in our community. They are not looking at it. What would they have to benefit from the resources that God bless they are pairing with? The guys don't care about it. So Young Twain, for me, I've been following him. I think he has received a major concerning issues that the guys needed to have looked at. But again, one man cannot fight the battle. You have 1,000 against 1, you can make it. Today it's going to pass, and ArcelorMittal is here. They will continue to operate in Liberia. They will take away our resources. But again, why in the case that they leave, what becomes of people? And those are some of the questions that we have been raising out. What becomes of the people if tomorrow ArcelorMittal having to leave? What is it that people are going to benefit? Some of the hard questions are there that the guys should have asked, but I didn't see that. It's just a free passage of the entire amendment stuff, and not much attention has been given to it. So I don't know. I don't know where the country is heading though. But people are representative, you representing somebody, and there is an issue that will affect the person in the long term, and you care less about even going back to the person to say, let's go back to them and getting their own views about the amendment, not much is done. Today it's growing and it's going to pass very freely. Nothing, nothing will come from out of it because that's what been happening in Liberia. So they want to go there and it will shot again, yeah, nay, and it's gone. But the people will suffer from the rest of the things that will be happening. So it's sad for all, brother. So sad.
So very sorry, and this exactly makes our country to be, so different kind of country on planet Earth. But um, what do you make of the initiative being launched by the president today in terms of securing a space for the justice system and the justice complex?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing because government should be able to, own their own properties. Now, all of the time, government will have to go and rent buildings. If the government can build some of these areas, most of the ministries, government can own it. They will not be renting. I think it's also going to help government from a lot of expenditure and other things. That you have your own building, and that in fact is a development for the country. So it is a good start. I will look forward to maybe other ministries as well. They can also do that so that like right, you can a whole government cannot be continue renting buildings around here and uh not more attention is being given to some of the ministries. You go there, you see some of the building, very bad off. I think that does not show any good image for our country. You can go to a ministry. Sometimes you see the paintings, everything is coming down from the building, and nobody pay attention. But it's a good thing. The president have done. But again, we're encouraging to extend it to other ministry as well, so that government can stop from renting and have their own buildings as well.
Exactly what you said. Let's conclude the show now, James. Let's get your concluding statement for tonight's presentation as we head to the weekend. But man, hopefully I won't come in might give you there. Hopefully maybe the weekend. Yeah. I will have to come and see
Oh,
you.
okay.
If it happens, I will have to come and see you.
Yeah, so we're here anytime. God is keeping us in a way. Magibi is a tough place to live, but again, you gotta be strong as a man to doing your run around so that you can at least carry something back home to the family and you too can at least be able to sustain yourself. But we're here. God is keeping us in all that we do. We can say it's our own knowledge and all of that. It is God who is involved in everything that we do here. But it has been a wonderful show today. We want to appreciate our two guests that came over. We really appreciate, Liberians seeing the need of coming back to the country like Coco, who is coming back, and in fact not just coming back, seeing the need to give us work to the less fortunate. I think there are other people who are far in the world. They are from Liberia, so they too can come back. Let's look at other areas. You can say, well, I want to go in the health area, right? Like Coco is coming back to having her own business, you know, preparing food and other things. You can look at other area. You can say, I want to go and open a business maybe for watching and those things. It also help to boost our economy because what you're going to be doing there, you have people being employed, and that will be something good. So Liberia is a beautiful place. If you have left this country for maybe 2 decades now, you haven't been able to come back. Come back. There is a whole different Liberia right now. The Liberia you knew before is not here today. In Liberia, I can tell you that a lot of young people who are coming up, everyone are determined. People are focused, and you can see that passion. People who want to bring that transformation. So if you come back here, trust me, you're going to have a good ground that you can invest in and your money is not going to be a waste. So we're just making this call to all of you that are outside of Liberia, see the need to come back, and let's all of us join hands together and see how best we can move this country forward. You are needed. We can't exclude you guys that are outside there. But it has been a wonderful show, Williams, and we will be here as well next week. Yeah, next week we're going to be here, and we're always grateful to be on this platform. We appreciate all of our dedicated followers, those of you who always watch this, the roundtable. The roundtable is for you anyway. So sorry that sometimes we eat out of the time, but again, the numbers can be on the screen just in case, sometimes you want to call and make your point as well. We already appreciate that. But well done to tell you, this show has been a wonderful one, and we will be here by God's willing next week.
Thank you so much for coming on, James, and it's exactly a great show tonight. Let me appreciate Madam Edna Baker. She's a lesson, life insurance coach and expert, and also Coco Lynn Smith is there from the UK, and she's involved into an initiative that basically, is trying to help the less fortunate. And we appreciate all of you for coming on, and thanks for following the roundtable. My name is William Papa McGill, and we wish you a wonderful and a pleasant weekend from Wiz TV and the management staff here at Wiz Online Television. We'll be here on Tuesday of next week, bringing you a fresh presentation, and also on Thursday, bringing you another great presentation, beginning at 10 p.m. Liberia time, or better still, at 5 p.m. the U.S. time. Thanks to all of you for watching, and thanks for being there. Thanks to James Aku, who's always available to making sure that we run up the roundtable. Bye-bye, and have a great night. I'm out.
I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. Hey yo, excuse me, Mr. Journalist, I wonder how you make your headlines in the press release today. Although I read the news every day, but I'm really still getting confused now, and I just wanna ask you some questions. Oh, is it based on money? Is it based on presidency? Is it based on technology? Is it based on war? Tell me, we gotta make your headline. Oh, we gotta make your story. Yeah.